Hello and welcome to the Weekly Review, a program of Sawasawa Network. I'm Alfred Yoron Modi. I'm the producer and host of this show. This is part 1 of the Weekly Review. It currently focuses on COVID-19 in South Sudan. For this episode, on Monday, I interviewed the Secretary General of South Sudan Council of Churches, together with an independent psychologist, and we talked about psychosocial and trauma healing in South Sudan at this time of COVID-19 pandemic. Here's the interview. It's about 17 minutes long. The Secretary General of South Sudan Council of Churches and Nhial, psychological support counselor, welcome to the Weekly Review.
Thank you.
Let me start with Fr Oyet. About 10 days ago, the Council of Churches reportedly launched a helpline to offer, quote, psychosocial and trauma healing support to people affected by the coronavirus pandemic. In brief, tell our audience what that is.
Listeners, the South Sudan Council of Churches Psychosocial and Trauma Care Helpline Services, its main overall objective is to improve psychosocial well-being and decrease distress among South Sudanese population and citizens directly and indirectly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and other sort of violence. Today, this pandemic has caused fear in the hearts of many South Sudanese. It has created a situation that people hide in themselves. Even those who have been in contact with those affected, they try to hide because of the stigma of the consequence after that. And then not only that, also the consequence, other consequences that relates to the lockdown, or people have to stay home and other things. In the homes, you have got a lot of issues regarding sexual gender-based violence in the houses. And also, even if someone who goes outside, when he comes, he will deny that he has been in contact. Or even if he has the signs of the pandemic, he will say he doesn't have, because God will take care of him. So through the South Sudan Council of Churches, Psychosocial and Trauma Care Helpline Services, it is just to help out people. We want to mobilize the religious leaders and churches and other communities of faith in the fight against COVID-19, to let these people not feel marginalized, to let the people not feel isolated, so that you have to speak out, so that you are helped. But it's not easy among South Sudanese to speak out of his or her personal difficulties. What they do, they keep silent, they hide in themselves. Even if you have it, you will say it's better not to talk, because if I talk of it, they'll pinpoint me. They say, this is a guy who has been in contact with that guy who passed on of COVID-19. So it becomes a pandemic, but a stigma in you, and it harms you traumatically. So this helpline, I don't see you, but you call. We have got the counselors who will guide you, who will say, no, you don't need to feel alone. We can help you, accompany you in your isolation, in your pains, in your silence. We can let you come out. So once we start that dialogue through the toll-free number, you open up slowly, and in the end, if you get that courage, you come and speak directly with the counselor. So this is what we have launched as a helpline service for the people. The people of South Sudan needs support. This initiative contributes to the action plan or piece of the council, because today we can't reach out the people because of social distancing and so forth. So we use this telephone line to help the South Sudanese, to help any citizen in South Sudan who has got this stigma, who have got this fear, and who have got this trauma that is breaking him down. So this is what the church wants to contribute as an initiative to help the South Sudanese people and citizens in South Sudan. We have got the problem of violence of the...
Father, thank you. We will get back to you. Sheila, as a psychologist, what's your view? Is counseling helpful in this time of COVID-19?
Pardon?
As a psychologist, what's your view about what Father Oyet has just said? Is counseling really helpful in this time of COVID-19 pandemic?
Acknowledge all the remarks he has made. Of course, counseling is necessary in these times of what? Of COVID-19. As you know, like the way Father said, when people hear about this news and everything about COVID-19, it brings a lot of responses to the person emotionally, psychologically, and behaviorally. And these all will impact on the person's mental and physical well-being. So at this critical moment, yes, I feel it is very necessary for people to have a chance, like through telephone communication, counseling, so that they can get away. You see, like when you share a problem, there's just this common saying that says, problem shared is half solved. So when you have a shoulder to lean on, it also relieves someone. So from my own perspective, I would like to just acknowledge and say, yes, whatever he has said, it is psychologically recommended, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
There's no difference. There's no harm that it is through the phone. That it is over the phone. It's not a problem.
Actually, very many studies, though may not like single out one, have showed that counseling through the phone normally helps a lot. For example, to people even who have suicidal thoughts, like there's a study that showed that most of the people who called, at least those telephone toll-free lines for counseling, they ended up not committing suicide. Yeah, so it is very relevant. Counseling through the phone also helps a lot. You see, most of the people will feel like embarrassed to come and talk to a person, but it is via the phone. You'll take away that factor of embarrassment. It will be covered up, and also confidentiality. Like, you know, from our culture also has, as we know that some, like in our culture, we believe you cannot share your problems, you have to solve your own issues, and yet it's burdening you deep inside your heart. So telephone counseling will help to remove the barriers of embarrassment, and also to cover up on issues of confidentiality. Yeah, and also other factors like supposing maybe I don't have money to get more salad, to go up to the counseling center, I could just give it a call. So it is socially and economically effective also.
Further,
Yes.
are people really calling the helpline to seek counseling? How is it going so far?
Thank you very much. People calling the helpline to seek counseling, because what you need is you need to have power in your phone. You don't need to pay anything. You don't need to have airtime. Just power. If your phone has got the battery strong, you call. It's free, and then the counselor will attend to you. Now my staffs are being overwhelmed with the telephone calls. It comes from all over South Sudan. Like, for example, one who was in Juba, he has been isolated in his house because of he has been in contact. So being isolated, he had nobody to come and bring him food, nobody to support him with water. So he was starving in the house. And when he heard, thank God he listened to radio news. When he heard about the toll center, he rang immediately. He rang immediately because he was trying to call the toll number of the Ministry of Health, the 6666, and there was nobody responding to him. In the end, when he got the 2222, we responded, my staff responded, counselors talked to him. He expressed his isolation, his suffering. He said it will not be COVID-19 killing him, but rather hunger. So we sent people, when I informed the Ministry of Health, then they went to the ambulance with the gadget on their board to rescue him. And we gave our contribution of food to him. So it was like a helpline that really helped the guy. Okay. We have got a lot of calls from far away, the whole South Sudan, from Maban, from Reng, from Mawil, from Twitch, from Dukpadiet, all these places they are calling. Roger?
Also, I would like to know, I already quoted you as saying that the counseling would also be provided for people traumatized by years of violence in South Sudan. which is an interesting thing. However, for how long is the program intended to go on? Is it a program that is going to end together with the pandemic?
No. The context now is the context of the pandemic. But before we came into this situation, we had the situation of the trauma of this violence in war, where we have got our sisters who have gone through sexual violence. We have got people who have gone through revenge killings, where we have got people who have gone through difficulties in the war. And now there's this context of COVID-19. It has even impounded on the people's life. And the people trying to come out, now they get this fear, this traumatic fear from the COVID-19 situation. So the process is not going to end when the COVID-19 ends. It's an open process. South Sudan needs to be healed. South Sudan needs to be cured. And we have made a point that we look for funds to heal through this trauma counseling process, the South Sudanese and all citizens here. Dr. Shiella will join us in this support because they as counselors have got a role to play.
Shiella, we are almost winding up the program. Shiella, final question to you. What professional advice would you give to our audience and the people of South Sudan in general at this particular moment of pandemic and also coupled with crisis in the country, which is related to the conflict?
Thank you so much. The most important advice I could give is the advice that has been given to us by the task force about all the prevention measures, wash your hands, keep social distance. But above all, from my side, I would also give like a comment on knowing all your own like as a human being, you know how you react to different things. Yeah, so keep like knowing your cues, follow the right news, don't just listen to any news. And if you feel anxiety, have somebody to talk to. If you feel above all, like what we Christians we always opt to is always to pray, because you know at all times when you feel overwhelmed, the best answer is to just connect to God and only just pray. But just do whatever the task force is telling us to do. Just follow the preventive measures and also pray. Yeah, and also try to connect with other psychosocial support activities in the community. Like if there is a prayer group that you know they pray with taking notes to the preventive measures like social distancing and washing hands. Yeah, basically that is what I can offer. Thank you.
Well, Father, in
Yes.
conclusion, you tell us who is supporting you at the moment to do this program, and then you conclude by also giving a message to our people, the people of South Sudan, and people also of other nationalities who are in South Sudan at this particular moment, as far as this trauma healing is concerned.
Thank you very much. Our support at the start now, the Psychosocial and Trauma Care Helpline Service is supported by the UK government through Christian Aid. The program is for 6 months, but we have UNICEF who is going to come on board because we have good concerns for children's rights also. So as we counsel people how they behave in this course, so UNICEF is going to come on board. And also we have got IOM, International Organization for Migrations, who have got also a program of this. They are going to come on board. And not only that, we have got our brothers and sisters, the people of Norway, through Norwegian Church Aid. They are going to come on board to support this because South Sudan is passing through this phase of a lot of trauma, of all the conflict, of all the violence, of all this COVID-19 thing. As I usually say, it was COVID-19 that knocked our door. Now we have a triple pandemic. The first pandemic is the COVID-19 pandemic. The second pandemic is the hunger pandemic. And then the third pandemic is a sexual-based violence pandemic that has hit our families and our homes, our society in South Sudan. So South Sudanese needs cure. South Sudanese needs healing. we have been born in this violent situation. And as we try to sort one, another comes in. As we try to reach out to one line, another problem comes in. So it's all overwhelming. Even me as a priest, the trauma is on me. I need to be counseled. I need to be helped. I can be strong in whatever I do. I can attend to other brothers and sisters, but also somebody will also attend to me. Somebody like Shiella will also attend to me in my pains, because I need to be listened to. You know, I'm a South Sudan in the end. I'm also having the trauma that disturbs me. The trauma will always be reflected in how I act, in how I socialize with people. Like today, we are asking the South Sudanese, please keep social distancing, wear your face mask to avoid the spread. But our people are having this disbelief, the trauma that comes out from disbelief that, what is it? We went through violent war. We went all through this difficult. What is this coronavirus?
So what is your final message to them?
My final message to South Sudan is, please follow the instruction given to us by the Ministry of Health. Washing your hands, keeping social distancing, wearing your mask, and avoiding crowded places. Especially my brothers and sisters, I know death is always a challenge, but let us try to change the usual ways of doing things. Funeral rites, people go and compact. Even if you know that person have died of COVID-19, you see people are just throwing themselves, hugging themselves, crying together. We need to change, my brothers and sisters, South Sudan, in this present context. There's no way. It's a reality. COVID-19 is not something of a joke. It kills. There's no treatment. The treatment is following the instruction given to us by the Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization. Do that and you'll be safe and your family will be safe.
On this program that you do, the helpline, what advice do you have to the people about it, about the program that you run?
All South Sudanese and all corners of South Sudan, call the helpline if you are having your own personal difficulties. That stigma, that trauma that disturbs you, call this number 222 times, and a counselor will answer you. Somebody like Shiella will listen to you. Will listen to you because you will speak all your pains. There's somebody who will shed tears with you. There's somebody who will cry with you. There's somebody who will attend to you and will help you. No, we South Sudanese, we're afraid of facing the situation. We want to speak from behind. But once I build the confidence, then I will look for muwasalat. I come, then I will meet the counselor personally. But first, this is a step, telephone conversation, telephone dialogue that can break this taboo of following things up.
Well, Fr James Oyet Latansio, the Secretary General of South Sudan Council of Churches, and Shiella Nhial Aken, a psychologist, thank you very much for being on the weekly review.
Thank you, Roger.
Bye.
Shiella, unmute. Bye.
Well, with that interview, dear viewer, we have come to the end of part 1 of this week's show. To keep in touch with our programs, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sawasawa Network, and follow us on our social media sites, Sawasawa Network. You can also visit our website, sawasawanetwork.org. Once again, I'm Alfred Yoron. Thank you for watching.